Welcome on board to the Alien Spaceship talk show with Emmy Hikins and Trevor, a podcast where no topic is off limits. Fasten your seatbelt, stick the kettle on, you're in for a bumpy ride. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Vulnerable side, is that the right word? Show.
Yeah, you don't want to show. Yeah, you don't want that
I
to
don't,
show.
I don't want to show. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
want that to show. So that came across as being proud, and I had
Mm.
at one point I had the girls, and the girls girls would gossip anyway. I'm not saying all girls gossip, but these girls gossiped, and they would be like, "Oh, have you heard what the girls are saying about you?" I'm like, "No." They're saying that you're snobbish, you think you're better than everybody else. I'm like, no, 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 no. I think they're better than me. And
I mean, what that brings up, just to sort of chip in there, what
yeah,
what
yeah,
what that brings up is in life generally. It
right,
probably highlights what you just said is how misreadings, misunderstandings occur between people, because
yeah,
sometimes I think nervousness, vulnerability, shyness can be, as you illustrated, can be read by others as being a bit standoffish, a bit
kind of,
disinterested. So
yeah,
yeah, it's an interesting point that it's not something we can always consider in terms of how do I come across to other people, because in a way you could say it's none of our business, none of my business how I come across to other people. That's their business. But
yeah,
obviously most of us, all of us, don't really want to come across in a way of perhaps being unfriendly or antisocial, but maybe nervousness, shyness can give that impression. So I guess that is that is a possibility. And it brings me on to my next question. What do
right.
you think, or could you name a weakness you think you have? A weakness personality wise or in any aspects? Do you think you have a weakness?
Do I think I have a weakness? I think every man has a weakness. I think every living human, regardless of the sexual orientation, have has got a flaw or a weakness, as we call it. Yeah, so I do think I do consider myself as having a weakness, and they say if you know your weakness, then it's no longer your weakness. Then is that's what they say anyway. They say, well, if you can recognize your weaknesses, then it's no longer weaknesses. That's what they say anyway. But yeah, but I do have weaknesses, and my weakness is that um, can can someone be overly persistent? Could you be overly persistent? Could that be a weakness? I mean, they say persistence is good,
Yeah.
but could being overly persistent, could it be classed as a weakness? So I would take a certain project and I would latch on to it,
Yeah.
and I would devote more than the usual attention to it to make sure that it doesn't fail, even
Mm.
when even when other aspects or other areas of a certain project is lacking, or being not being given so much of an attention. And I do consider that as a weakness, because you're supposed to be able to count your losses and think, this is not working,
Mm.
that's not working, and just move on to something else. And I think that's what successful people do. And I could be wrong here, or I could be right. I don't know. I suppose it depends on time tells, doesn't it? But I think successful people would look at a project and they would go, right, that's not viable, right? They might not even go into it. They might just look at certain things and just think, right, that's not working, and they'll move on to something else. Now, I'm not like that. I'll look at something and I'll go, why is it not working? What can be done to make it work? And I would work around that project and get it going. But then it takes a chunk of your time.
Yeah.
And I consider that a weakness.
Yeah, maybe sometimes we need to, well, from what you're saying, sometimes there comes a point where you've got to say, no, I don't think it's going to work. And you cut your losses. You say, no, move on to something else. I think that's what you're saying. So I see why you think that could be a weakness, because you're sort of almost, what's the expression, flogging a dead horse, perhaps. Clearly, if it's something you persist at and it ultimately works, then I don't think you consider that a weakness. So tell me what you think a particular strength of yours is.
We're going to take a short break now. We're back shortly. You've been listening to the Alien Spaceship Talk Show with Trevor Gear and Emmy Hikins. The Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast is looking for sponsors. If you're a company out there looking to spread the word about the products and services you provide, please get in touch with Deepstuff Radio Podcast on info@deepstuffrecords.com, or to use the contact form on our website to contact us, please visit radio.deepstuffrecords.com. Also, if you're looking to get involved on the Alien Spaceship Talk Show podcast, reach out via our Deepstuff Radio Facebook page. Thank you.